Well, we now know the man accused of threatening to detonate a bomb during a flight from Atlanta to Seattle on Wednesday said if the pilot did not reroute the plane to another airport, the FBI says Brandon Scott passed a note to a flight attendant threatening to detonate explosives and, quote, kill everyone on board. That plane was rerouted to Spokane, where Scott was taken into custody and is facing federal charges, and no explosives were found on that plane. Thanks for joining us tonight. I'm Kirsten O'Connor.
And I'm Aaron Luna. Scott says he made up the threat because members of a cartel were waiting for him in Seattle, and this was his plan to change the plane's destination. Our Jordan Smith joins us live from the Spokane International Airport with the story. Jordan.
Well, Brandon Scott contemplated multiple plans, Aaron, Kirsten. One of those included assaulting a flight attendant. Another one was opening a cabin door mid-flight, all of which in an attempt to divert that plane away from Seattle's airport, and then ultimately decided to pass an ominous note to a flight attendant.
On Wednesday, what started off as a normal flight quickly morphed into a flying nightmare. According to court documents, the note that was passed along to a flight attendant read in part, "There is a bomb on this plane. This is not a joke. Several pounds of homemade explosives are in my carry-on bag." Later saying, "My demands are simple. I want this plane rerouted from its destination in Seattle. If this plane lands in Seattle, I will kill everyone on board." 38-year-old Brandon Scott allegedly wrote that on a note for the flight attendant to alert the pilot of his demands, and then suggested making up a mechanical issue with the plane as an excuse to land it. Kellen Call, a passenger on that flight, says that's exactly what happened.
What the pilot said, what he did was to, so that we wouldn't incite panic and things, is he mentioned that there was a minor malfunction, that we needed to do an emergency landing in Spokane because it was the closest one. We landed, and the pilot said, "Hey, the plane is fine. They checked it out. We're good." And we were like, okay, well, why is the dude getting arrested?
The pilot diverted the plane to Spokane, where Scott was handcuffed and escorted off the plane as a bomb squad unit searched the plane for explosives, fortunately finding none. According to court documents, Scott said he made up the threat because the Sinaloa cartel was waiting for him in Seattle to, quote, torture and kill him. Scott's criminal history has a number of felony convictions, including kidnapping and robbery. Scott made his first appearance in federal court today, charged with something called false information and hoaxes, which is the federal law that makes it illegal to make people think that a catastrophe is imminent.
And if convicted, Scott faces up to 5 years in federal prison and could pay a fine up to $250,000. His next court appearance is July 19th here in Spokane. In Spokane International Airport tonight, Jordan Smith, 4 News Now.